Hey friend, please subscribe. 1 second for you. Big deal for me.
I was halfway through nuking leftover spaghetti at lunch when I saw the story. Kara, holding a plastic cup of ouzo, window seat view, wide grin. The next clip was her blue and white carry-on with a shiny gold M. I knew that bag. I'd seen it under my own kitchen table. She was on a flight to Athens. That same lunch break, I checked the account for Evan's surgery, something I did maybe once a week. My thumb froze before the page even loaded. The balance sat there like a threat, $740. I had to sit down. I actually leaned against the fridge like someone punched me in the ribs. 2 years and 10 months. That's how long I'd been stacking that fund. Overtime, weekend shifts, a lawn mowing side hustle last summer that damn near wrecked my back. I'd saved $96,800, and now it was gone. Quick note, before we start, share in the comments. How's your day going and where are you joining from? And let's continue. Evan was 8. Tibial torsion in his right leg. Not life-threatening, no. But it twisted the way he walked, made him tire out fast, made other kids stop and stare. The surgeon said with a corrective osteotomy and therapy, he could finally run straight, play sports, do normal kid stuff without dragging one side like a limp string. I wasn't fixing his life. I was giving him a fair shot. I'd done the work. All of it. Kara. She hadn't worked in almost a year. Lost her retail job, bounced between friends' apartments, then landed at Marina's place. My sister. Just for a couple months, Marina said. It became 6. Kara was around my house almost weekly after that. She played nice, brought Evan little sticker books, asked about his surgery timeline, the fundraising link, even which bank I used. She said stuff like, "That little guy's lucky to have you." I believed she gave a damn. She didn't. I pulled up the transfers. There were 5 of them, all clean round numbers. 10 grand, 15, even 20. Spaced out over 11 days. She didn't even try to make it subtle. The last one hit that morning, the exact morning she posted the bag, and the wine and the view. 74-0 left. Not even 1,000. I started sweating. I couldn't swallow. My whole mouth went dry like chalk. I called Kara, straight to voicemail. Texted her. Call me as soon as possible. Emergency. Nothing. 2 more texts. Still gray. Then she posted again. Rooftop view of Santorini. White domes, bright water. Caption. Finally living. She tagged a seafood place and a boutique. That bag again, front and center. I called Marina. She picked up on the second ring, sounded out of breath. Kara told me she was going to Ohio to visit a friend, she said, voice going tight. She didn't say anything about Greece. I asked if Kara had used her iPad recently. Marina paused. Yeah, she watched some shows on it. I asked if it had my Wi-Fi saved. She said, "Oh, hell." Evan came in from the backyard holding a football. You sick? He asked, blinking up at me. I said my stomach hurt. He gave me a hug and said he could make toast if I needed. He was 8. I went to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub, and just stared at the tile like it could explain something. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just felt heat, rising, sharp, itchy, behind my eyes. Pulled up the fraud chat with the bank. Typed, unauthorized access to account, suspect family member. Rep asked if anyone had access to my device. I typed yes, then backspaced. Typed it again, yes. They opened a case, warned me it could be complicated because it came from my own IP. I started screenshots, timestamps, captions, transfer confirmations, Kara's tags. She posted again, wine glass, blue ocean behind her, captioned, "No more broke energy." I put my phone face down. I'm not dramatic. I don't like scenes. But this? This was war. And she picked the wrong damn kid to steal from. I spent the rest of that day bouncing between bank hold music and screenshot folders. The agent I finally reached was polite, professional, but bottom line, 5 transfers, same IP, authenticated from a known device. They escalated it, flagged my account, and told me to file a police report. I wrote down every reference number like they were coordinates in a war plan. I made a folder, labeled it Kara Theft. I was past the point of giving people the benefit of the doubt. Kara's stories kept dropping like clockwork. It was like watching a luxury ad campaign paid for with my son's limp. Mykonos Beach Club, tagged. A boutique with little white dresses and those useless gold hangers, tagged. Her wrist stacked with bangles, shimmering in the sun. The caption under that one hit like a fist. When your cousin finally invests in you. I stared at that line until I couldn't see straight. I called Sabrina. We've been divorced almost 3 years, but things are civil. We split holidays. She picks up Evan on Thursdays. She picked up this time and I told her everything. She paused. Clint, listen. You can't prove it was Kara. You'll drive yourself crazy chasing it. I said, I've got transfers that match her damn timestamps. She sighed. I'm just saying, breathe. And maybe, I don't know, postpone the surgery. Evan's not dying. People crowdfund these things that line. It hit harder than she meant. She wasn't wrong, but she wasn't right either. This wasn't a car fix or a dental bill. This was my kid's shot at running without dragging his foot like an anchor. I said thanks and hung up before I said something I'd regret. Marina showed up an hour later holding a pizza and her laptop. She sat down like she was clocking in. Let's map this bitch out, she said, flipping open the screen. We lined up the withdrawals with Kara's posts, each date, each transfer. Kara didn't just steal, she narrated it. Every 10 grand she took was followed by a story. Airport lounges, fresh pedicures, boutique seafood. Marina built a spreadsheet with tabs and color codes like she was prepping for trial. If she wants to document her crimes, let her, Marina said, eyes scanning her screen. You're not the one who's gonna look crazy when this gets ugly. I nodded, jaw clenched so tight my teeth ached. Later that night, I stood in Evan's room. He was asleep, blanket kicked off, leg bent weird like always. I walked out and took down the calendar we'd made together, big red X's counting down to July 19th. I thought I'd do it while he slept. But of course, Evan walked in just as I was pulling the last pushpin. Are we switching calendars? He asked, rubbing his eyes. I paused. We might have to wait a little longer, bud. He didn't ask why. Just looked at the blank wall and went back to bed without another word. That silence weighed more than any lecture. Next morning, at the plant, Hector pulled me aside. You good? He asked. You look like you're chewing gravel. I said there was family mess. He didn't press. Hector's the kind of guy who doesn't need details to smell trouble. He just said, You've got a real shot at lead tech in August. But I need you clean, no lates, no call-offs. Then he dropped his voice. Also, I heard something dumb in the break room. Deal with it fast. I found out what he meant real quick. Rashad, loudmouth from line 2, was mid-story when I walked in. Swear to God my cousin saw Clint at the off-track, he was saying. Blew the surgery fund on horses. I stood in the doorway and waited until he noticed me. He froze. His eyes dropped to his coffee. Not cool, I said flat. Watch your mouth. He muttered sorry. Didn't even look up. It still sat in my gut like a rusty nail. I don't care about gossip, but this was my kid, his leg, his future. I didn't punch a wall. I didn't yell. I just went back to my station and got to work. That night, Kara posted a bath full of rose petals with hotel slippers in the corner. Caption, I owed myself this. Comments were all fire emojis and, you deserve it, queen. I texted her one more time. You took Evan's surgery money. Call me. Gray bubbles. Unread. Or just ignored. Either way, she was watching me burn and popping champagne while she did it. Then, 9:17 p.m., my phone lit up. My uncle. He started slow. Said Kara told them I'd offered seed money for her to get a fresh start. Said maybe it was all a misunderstanding. Then he said something that made me grip the phone so tight it cracked. We're willing to help smooth things. $3,400 over 10 months. Just to keep the peace, I kept my voice even. Peace doesn't get bought with other people's kids. There was silence on the line. Then he said, "You don't have to be like this," and hung up. I sat in the dark on my living room couch with the baby monitor still running in the corner. Evan's leg always looked more twisted in the night cam. I thought about the day he came home from therapy with a printout of how to use crutches. He'd practiced all weekend down the hallway, 8 years old, limping with purpose. I hadn't told him the date was off yet. I didn't know how, so I did what I could. I opened my laptop and started a document. Timeline. I typed in every date, every transfer, every post Kara made that matched up. I saved screenshots. I added captions. I built folders inside folders. I was done reacting. I wasn't chasing her anymore. I was building something she couldn't spin. Next morning, Evan stood in the hallway, staring at the blank patch on the wall where the calendar used to be. His voice was quiet, but clear. "So we're not counting anymore?" I wanted to lie. I wanted to say we finished early, or the tape wouldn't hold. But he was looking straight at me, waiting. I told him there was a snag, and the hospital needed us to wait a little. He didn't blink. "Is it because Kara needed the money more?" He said her name like it was nothing. No bitterness, just curious. He always liked her. My jaw clenched so tight it sent pain up my temple. I nodded once. I made pancakes. He poked at them with the side of his fork like he wasn't sure they were food. Then he asked, "Am I still getting my new soccer cleats?" We'd talked about them after therapy. Bright blue, with his name stitched on the heel. A little reward for all the work he'd put in. "Yeah," I said, "just a little later than planned." He gave one of those half shrugs. "I can wait." 8-year-olds shouldn't have to say things like that, but mine did. At lunch, I called the surgeon's office from the back lot behind the plant, sitting in my truck with the AC off and sweat running down my back. The coordinator, Vanessa, had a calm, kind voice that made it worse somehow. She said she could move us off July 19th, and the next opening was probably late August if we were lucky. She paused and said the deposit to hold the new spot would be $22,000. My hand shook so bad I had to brace it against the steering wheel while I gave her the card. All I had left in checking. It wasn't enough. She said she'd put us on standby. I thanked her and ended the call before my voice cracked. Back at the plant, Hector looked up from his clipboard as I passed. "You good to finish the day?" he asked, eyes narrowed. "I need a couple hours," I said. He nodded. "Bring paperwork. Keep it boring. Boring wins." At home, I printed everything. Bank statements, screenshots, Instagram tags. Marina came over with a stapler and those neon post-it flags she swears by. She built packets like she was prepping a courtroom binder, not a police report. She didn't talk much. Neither did I. Later that afternoon, Sabrina pulled up with Dylan in the truck. He didn't get out. Just leaned back like he was guarding the perimeter. "Hey, little man," she said, giving Evan a quick hug. "You ready for movie night?" Evan grinned and ran to grab his bag. While he buckled in, Dylan called out through the window, "Man, just start a GoFundMe." People eat that stuff up. Little kid, bad leg, easy money like it was a pitch for a brand collab. I didn't respond. I just stared until he looked away. Evan hugged me tight before they drove off. I held on a few seconds longer than usual. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Kara had tagged me in a new post. A carousel, white sandals, a beige linen blazer, some boutique hotel lobby with a glass ceiling. Caption, "Leveling up." Then came the DM, from a verified account with a name I couldn't pronounce. "We saw your tag and can offer discount gifts for her." I blocked it before I could think. This was what she did. She took my kid's future and turned it into content. My pain was just her ad backdrop. Marina texted me at 8:41 with a screen recording. "Should I hit Mykonos or stay in Santorini?" "Poll below," Kara said in the video, smiling at her phone like she wasn't in the middle of wrecking lives. Marina had time-stamped it. It lined up exactly with the third transfer. I saved the video twice and added it to the folder. Around 10, Hector called. I stepped onto the porch to take it. Look, you've got a lead on that position, he said. But if you start missing work, I can't hold it. I'll manage, I told him. Then I asked something that had been itching at the back of my head for days. You ever seen a guy win against it came from your IP? He was quiet a second. You don't need to win the world, he said finally. You just need to make her flinch. That stuck. Not revenge, not burning her down. Just make her feel something for what she did. Let her know she messed with the wrong damn person. I didn't need to make her cry. I just needed her to blink. I went to bed thinking about that. I'm not the speech-giving, table-flipping kind of guy, but I'm consistent. I can do boring. I can do hard. So I decided right then, no more reacting to her posts. No more swearing at my phone like she'd hear me. I'd keep building. Quiet, steady, brick by brick. She wanted the spotlight. I'd give her the shadows with documents and deadlines. I slid the photo into the binder and snapped it shut. The sleeve crinkled a little from the edge of the paper. Evan's snow cone was tilted, red syrup dripping down his fingers, and he was still smiling. I stared at it for another beat before I got up and packed everything into a canvas bag I'd gotten free at a tire shop. The next morning, I took the bag to the station. The patrol desk officer looked like he was halfway through a Red Bull and regretting it. Deep bags under his eyes, that slow, measured way guys talk when they've had too many overnight shifts and not enough thanks. I gave him the folder and explained everything. He listened, nodding a little, didn't interrupt much. When I got to the part about the iPad, he scratched something on his clipboard and said, "Yeah, unfortunately, if it came from your network and a device you've logged in from, this might end up being a civil thing." My stomach sank. I asked if they'd still write it up. "Yeah," he said, and took copies of the transfer records and the screenshots. "You'll get a case number for reference." That's what I walked out with, a case number, and a thin stack of hope that felt like it could tear in the wind. Marina had already booked the consult, free initial meeting with an attorney named Annette Jameson. Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. downtown. Her assistant called me ahead of time and told me to bring everything digital. I wasn't taking chances. I made 2 USBs, labeled and password protected. I printed 2 binders. I used dividers. My dining table looked like the back room of a shipping center. Ink smudges on my fingers, tape tabs everywhere. Marina sitting across from me eating sunflower seeds and muttering, "She's gonna choke on her own lies." Kara didn't choke, though. She posted Mykonos, again. White sheets, golden hour, a caption that said, "Manifesting, always." The comments were just as fake as the view. Friends hyping her up, strangers asking where she got her bracelet. Marina just shook her head. "Let her post," she said. "She's building your case. Don't look away. Save all of it." It felt like chewing tinfoil every time I hit save, but I kept doing it. Midweek, my phone buzzed while I was loading pallets. WhatsApp from Kara. "You're making this bigger than it needs to be." 2 minutes later, "It's not like Evan is dying." I stood there staring at those words, heart thudding like a dropped wrench. That's how she saw it. Not like she stole his shot at walking normal. Just took a little extra time from someone who wasn't dying. I typed back one line. "Come home." "Fix it," she replied with a laughing emoji. I printed the message and filed it. That night, Marina called in a favor from her coworker, Omar. He was the kind of guy who didn't say much, wore shirts with faded tech company logos, and always had gum. He came over with his laptop and dug into the router logs. Within 15 minutes, he found it. Device ID matching Marina's iPad, login times lined up with the transfers, and Kara's Instagram stories posting right after from her own Android. He didn't say anything, just turned the screen so I could see. The proof wasn't just strong, it was tidy. The next day, I got an invite. "Greek night at my place. Let's put drama behind us. Evan can try the baklava." There was a little evil eye emoji at the end, like that made it cute. Marina laughed out loud. "If she wants a stage," she said, "we'll let her have one." She said she'd go, with her phone out, camera recording. Not sneaky, not hidden, just visible enough that no one could claim confusion later. Saturday I worked a full shift to keep my hours solid. Hector passed me in the warehouse and gave a nod like he saw me trying. Rashad caught me in the locker room after shift. He said, "Look, man, my cousin's full of it. He never saw you at the off-track. I was just running my mouth. I get it was messed up." I let the silence hang long enough to make him shift his weight. Then he said, "I can cover a shift if you need time for court or whatever." Seriously? It wasn't friendship, but it wasn't war anymore either. I could live with that. Sunday night, Kara dropped a teaser, champagne bottles in a stainless steel sink, some bougie kitchen backdrop. She tagged 3 boutiques again. Caption, "Opa." I sat on the couch, chest humming with the kind of slow, controlled anger that used to get me in trouble when I was younger. I muted her. Then I unmuted her. She wasn't going to outlast me. Not on this. I wasn't blinking first. Before bed, I went into the kitchen and opened the binder again. I slid Evan's park photo into the front cover sleeve, right above the first tab that said, "Transfer 1." The kid in the picture had red syrup on his face and a crooked leg, but he looked happy. That photo wasn't for court. It was for me. I watched Marina pull out of the driveway that night, with her phone already recording in her lap. She was calm, clipped her hair back like she was heading to an interview, not a circus. I didn't go to Kara's Greek night. I couldn't. My hands still shook when I thought about what she'd done, and if I saw her smiling through it, I might have said something I'd regret. Marina walked in like she had a press badge. Phone up, no hiding. Kara didn't blink. She welcomed her with a hug like they hadn't been exchanging barbed texts just days earlier. There were tapas plates, flickering candles, a Bluetooth speaker playing some Mediterranean playlist that sounded like a knockoff Airbnb commercial. Then Kara started the show. She passed around her tablet like it was a yearbook. Sunset shots, pool selfies, grilled octopus with lemon wedges. People clapped, said things like, "Wow, I'm jealous," and "That water looks fake." Then came the clip that made Marina freeze mid-sip. Kara, holding up a glass, tipsy smile, said, "Shout out to my cousin's account for the upgrade." Loud, proud, like it was a line from a sitcom. There was laughter, but it died fast. Marina didn't laugh. She didn't smile. She just lowered her glass and stared. 10 minutes later, Marina airdropped me the video from her car outside. No caption, just the file. I watched it twice, my ears buzzing like someone had flipped a switch in my skull. Kara noticed Marina wasn't laughing. She got nervous, tried to grab her phone. Marina pulled back. Kara started yelling, "Delete that, I was joking." Someone knocked over a bowl of olives. A woman said, "Whoa, relax!" And a guy in a white shirt said, "This is awkward." Kara kept saying it was a joke. But the timestamp said otherwise. Her toast lined up with the 3rd bank transfer, almost to the hour. I didn't sleep much that night. Around 1:40 a.m., I sat at the kitchen table with my laptop open, and the party clip paused. Kara's voice mid-toast, glass in the air, mouth open like a GIF. I opened Gmail. Subject line, applicant Kara, last name. I sent it to the hiring manager at a pediatric foundation downtown. They'd offered Kara an accounts payable job starting Monday. I knew because she'd bragged about it 2 weeks ago at dinner, said it was 6 figures with flexible Fridays. In the email, I included no commentary, no caps lock, no profanity, just the receipts. 4 public posts with the caption dates, 1 with my name tagged, the video of the party, and the screenshots of the bank transfers. I ended with, "If you have further questions, feel free to reach out." I hit send and closed the laptop. By lunch the next day, Kara's dad called me. "She's hysterical," he said, voice shaky. They rescinded the offer. Then his tone flipped, louder, sharper. "How could you ruin that for her?" I didn't yell. I didn't explain. I said, "She ruined it for herself." And for Evan, he went quiet. Then he hung up. At 8:40 that night, I heard the pounding on my front door before I even got up from the couch. Kara, screaming, "You cost me a career!" Evan peeked out from the hallway, scared. He clutched the back of my shirt like it was a rope. I told him to stay behind me. I opened the door just enough to see her. She looked wild, smeared makeup, shaking hands, phone in one and keys in the other. "You think you're some kind of hero now?" she shouted. "You want people to clap for you?" "You ruined me," I said. "Go home." She shoved the door. I backed up and dialed 911, put it on speaker. Kara froze when the operator picked up. "This is 911. What's your emergency?" "She's trespassing and escalating," I said, loud enough for Kara to hear. She backed off. Fast. I recorded the last 30 seconds. When the officers showed up, they recognized her name from the report. They didn't cuff her, just told her to move along or face a citation. She left. Next night was family dinner at my grandparents'. No one mentioned the scene. We don't do public fights at that table. We eat, we pass the rolls, we clear our own plates. Kara showed up late, eyes red but no tears. She tried to make a speech about being targeted and cyberbullied. No one interrupted her, but no one clapped either. Then my grandfather, Walter, retired steelworker, Korean vet, man of maybe 20 total words per meal, set his fork down. "You bought linen and leather while my great-grandson limps," he said. Shame. The room went dead still. Kara stared at her plate. Her mom looked at her, then at her dad. Finally, she spoke. "We're selling the bags," she said. "We're listing the clothes. You're moving back home. We're taking your cards." "You can't be trusted," Kara started to argue, voice rising. Her dad said, "Enough." First time I'd ever seen them actually parent her like someone over the age of 12. 2 nights later, Marina and I sat on my living room floor with 2 ring lights and a spreadsheet. We took pictures, wrote captions, priced everything below market. Dresses, bags, sunglasses. We tracked offers, shipping labels, and payments. By the end of the week, it added up to $28,700. Kara kept texting. "Those were gifts. You don't get to resell what was mine. You're punishing me." Her mom replied to her directly. "Gifts bought with stolen money aren't gifts." They opened a separate account, named it Evan Fund. Every payment went in there. Her mom sent me the first deposit screenshot, $1,600, scheduled monthly. I didn't say thank you. I just forwarded it to the lawyer's folder. With that first chunk, I called the surgeon's office and paid what I could. Vanessa answered. And when she saw the amount, $12,000, she actually sounded relieved. "We'll log that," she said. "That leaves $10,000 remaining to lock the date." I asked if August 28th was still a possibility. She paused, then said, "If another family shifts, it's yours. We'll call you the second it opens." When I hung up, I just sat there. For the first time in weeks, I didn't feel like the world was caving in. I could actually take a full breath without something clawing at the back of my chest. I didn't smile, not yet, but I knew this. Kara blinked, and I wasn't done. I was halfway through making Evan's lunch the next morning, peanut butter, no jelly, when Sabrina called. She didn't start with hi, just said, "Dylan thinks you should crowdfund it. He says people love a good comeback story, especially with kids. Especially if you add a photo and talk about healing energy." I put the knife down and leaned against the counter. "This isn't a vibe," I said. "It's math and bone. We're not manifesting a tibia." She paused for a second. "Fair," she said quietly. "Also, Kara asked me to defend her online. Said you were trying to destroy her life." I kept my voice flat. "You gonna?" "No." I told her I'm not getting in the middle of her mess. Small miracles. 2 days later, I opened the door to a woman in slacks and a polo with a clipboard and calm eyes. "Child Protective Services," she said. "Just here to follow up on an anonymous tip." She was polite, professional. She asked if Evan was home. I said yes, and he was in the living room watching cartoons. She looked around, opened the fridge, peeked in the bathroom. Then she sat at the kitchen table, while Evan told her about his favorite dinosaur. She asked me about income. I showed her the binders. I gave her a copy of the police report. I even pulled up Kara's posts on my laptop. After 10 minutes, she closed her folder. "This happens more than you think," she said. "Money drama, revenge calls. I'm closing the case today. It won't go anywhere." I thanked her and walked her out. I didn't say it, but we both knew who made the call. Back at the plant, Hector flagged me down near the tool cage. "Noise is dying down," he said, eyes scanning the floor. "Keep your head down. I need you to train 2 new techs. If you get through August clean, lead tech is yours on September 2nd. I locked that date in my head like a safe code. Annette met us that Friday in a tiny office above a strip mall. There was a fake plant in the corner with dust on the leaves and a clock that ticked too loud. She wore glasses and didn't smile much. She flipped through my binders, asked a few questions, and tapped her pen against the table when she read the WhatsApp messages from Kara. "The IP issue doesn't kill us," she said. "Access without consent is still access without consent." She drafted a demand letter on the spot. It had screenshots, a full repayment schedule, and a clause about social media harassment. She also prepped a small claims packet with every date and amount. "You'll have leverage," she said. "She'll know it." Later that night, Omar called Marina, said he had something. He came by with a printed report, clean, sharp, 3 lines circled in red. The iPad device ID logged in 5 times. Each one matched a bank transfer. The timestamps lined up with Kara's posts. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a coincidence. It was a pattern. "She used it on the mornings she babysat Evan," Omar said, voice low. "I triple-checked it." I thanked him. He just shrugged. "People like her think the cloud forgets." Then came the Dylan stunt. I was getting Evan ready for bed, brushing teeth, arguing over one more book, when my phone buzzed 6 times in a row. Screenshots, from Marina, from a coworker, from a neighbor, all showing the same thing. A GoFundMe, started by Dylan, using an old photo of Evan in a cast from 2 years ago. The caption was loaded with dramatic words. Innocent, betrayed by family, hope through hardship. It even called Dylan the bonus dad. I called Sabrina. She answered fast. "What the hell is this?" I asked. "I didn't know," she said. "He didn't ask." "I'll make him take it down." 15 minutes later, it was gone. Then Dylan texted me a wall of nonsense about brand awareness and how we could turn the chaos into community. I didn't reply. Kara's stories slowed down after the party video, but they didn't stop. She posted vague quotes about cutting out toxic people and choosing peace. No names, just tone. Her usual audience ate it up at first. Then her friends started unfollowing her. Some of them messaged me directly. One wrote, "I didn't know it was that bad. I'm so sorry." Another just sent, "She lied to us too." I didn't want apologies. I wanted deposits. Her parents kept the payments steady. The resale account ticked up. By week 3, it hit $41,000. Then the call came from the hospital. Vanessa's voice came through the speaker like a sunrise. "We've got you on the calendar, August 11th, 2:15 p.m., pre-op consult. You'll meet with the surgeon, get fitted for post-op gear, and confirm recovery steps." Evan was on the couch next to me. He heard the date and tried not to smile, but couldn't help it. "Can I bring my lucky hat?" he asked. "Of course," I said. "Bring your book too." He nodded. "I'm going to run straight as a pencil." I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in what felt like months. I messed up his hair and told him I believed him. That night, after he went to bed, I sat on the porch with a beer and my phone face down. Marina texted me a video. It was Kara, crying into her camera, rambling about how no one loved her anymore, how she felt erased, how people treat you like a monster for trying to heal. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't need to. Instead, I looked out at the street, quiet, lit by one dull street lamp, and thought about steel, about bolts and blueprints, about timelines and torque settings, about bones that can be cut and screwed and braced back together, about how you don't fix things by wishing, you fix them by doing. And I was far from done. The text started at 7:13 a.m. She's here. You're not going to believe this. Then a 10-second video. Kara was at her parents' house, flipping the table runner like it personally offended her. Her voice was shrill, shouting about justice and payback. She started grabbing her mom's handbags off the coat rack. Real leather, some of them vintage. Her dad stood back with his phone recording. Not for views. For court, probably. "If you're gonna sell my stuff, then I'm selling yours," she yelled, snatching another purse like she was looting her own childhood. Her mom, calm as always, didn't flinch. "Put them down," she said, like she was giving instructions in an ER. Kara didn't. She lunged for her dad's phone, tried to swipe it from his hand. He stepped back. She missed. That's when she grabbed the ceramic fruit bowl, blue and white, hand-painted, older than me. She hurled it against the wall like she was in a movie. It shattered, loud and final. The neighbor across the street called the cops. By the time the officers showed up, Kara was pacing on the porch, crying and shouting into her phone. They didn't even ask questions, just told her, "You need to leave or you're getting cited." She left. No fight, just fumes and slammed car doors. Then came the digital detonation. She went nuclear online. Posts on stories, posts on her grid, posts on her backup account. Paragraphs, accusations, lies. She said I'd stolen from her first, that I gambled Evan's surgery fund, that Marina shoplifted from a pharmacy when she was 17, that her parents were financial abusers who manipulated her for optics. But people had eyes. They'd seen the beach club, the bangles, the shout-out video. They remembered the white blazer, the comment section turned on her fast. "You stole from a kid. Keep the receipts, Clint. Your cousin's a hero. You're a leech, that last one got pinned." She tried spinning it as cyberbullying. She posted a crying video from inside her car. No makeup, soft lighting, talking about how she was being hunted by jealous people. And the narrative. 10 minutes later, she posted from her backup. "Anyone got a couch?" Just for a couple nights while I reset, no one answered. None of her party friends offered. One person commented, "Sell the blazer." Another wrote, "Pay the kid's bill." She turned off comments. I didn't reply. I didn't share. I just saved everything and went back to work. 3 days later, the Pediatric Foundation reposted the job listing. Kara's old one. Accounts Payable Specialist. Marina applied on a dare from one of her co-workers. She'd been taking night classes in bookkeeping for over a year, but never thought she'd actually use it for something real. She figured she wouldn't get it. She got the interview, then the job. I was at the plant when she called. "I start Monday," she said. "How's that for a full circle kick in the face?" When Kara found out, how, I don't know, maybe mutuals, she drove there, walked into the lobby, and made a scene loud enough for security to escort her out. She yelled that Marina stole her identity, that she deserved that job. Marina didn't engage, just walked to the HR desk and waited it out. That was her version of a win. Clean, public silence. After that, her parents finally snapped the last cord. No more phone, no credit card, no spare room. They offered therapy and nothing else. Kara posted 3 quote graphics in a row. "Going no contact is self-care. They hate you because they hate themselves. Blood doesn't mean loyalty." Then she changed her bio to "Healing in chaos, black heart." For once, her parents held the line. No check-ins, no soft landings. That weekend, Sabrina texted me. Dylan said Kara's a marketing opportunity. Then she added, she asked him to help rebuild her brand. That word, brand, made my hands curl into fists. She wasn't learning. She was rebranding. I didn't text back. I didn't need the details. Let them circle each other like 2 broken drones. I had better things to do. Evan sat on the living room floor that night, drawing with his tongue between his teeth, fully focused. He showed me his picture. It was a red sports car, drawn in thick black lines. 4 wheels, all straight. Inside was a smiling stick figure in the driver's seat, hands on the wheel. "Is that you?" I asked. He nodded. "I'm gonna be fast," he said. "Really fast." Then he asked, "Will Kara still come to my birthday?" I didn't lie. "Probably not this year, bud." He didn't pout, just looked at the drawing and nodded. "Okay." He went back to coloring. I stuck the picture on the fridge with a magnet shaped like a wrench. Then I stood there a minute, hand on the handle, looking at those wheels, straight as rails. I was standing at the copier at work when Annette texted, "Filed. September 19th. Let me know if you get pushback." She filed the small claims case anyway, even though the payments were coming in. She called it leverage. Said court dates had a way of keeping people on task. The paperwork included a draft settlement, full amount owed, payment schedule, interest if missed, and a clause about zero contact from Kara. Her parents didn't fight it. Annette said they signed within 24 hours. "They're tired too," she said. On the 1st, like clockwork, the next transfer hit, $1,600. The same day, another $6,900 came in from resale. Marina kept me posted, tracking every item sold and tagged in the spreadsheet she named Kara Repayment Final. That week, I walked into the hospital with a folder of receipts so thick it barely fit in the zipper. I handed it to the billing clerk. She flipped through, scanned the total, and looked up at me. "You're all set," she said. "Full balance paid." Evan was standing next to me in his lucky hat. She handed him a sticker shaped like a gold star. He peeled it and stuck it right on the brim. Back at work, Rashad cornered me in the break room. Different vibe this time. "Hey man," he said. "If you're working this Saturday, I'd like to shadow." I could use the extra hours I didn't make it easy for him. I asked if he could lift, troubleshoot, and stay quiet when things got tense. He nodded. "I can. And I know I talked too much before. I'm trying to show up different." Saturday came, and he showed. On time. Brought his own tools. Didn't complain when the gear assembly took twice as long. I watched him fix the misalignment without needing me to step in. When we clocked out, I gave him a nod. He nodded back. That's how men say we're good. The following Tuesday, Hector posted the lead tech job with a 48-hour application window. I submitted my name by lunch. Same afternoon, he called me into the back office. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed. "It's yours, Mercer." "You earned it. Don't make me look dumb." I shook his hand. He squeezed hard, like always. That handshake felt heavier than a raise. Kara tried one last stunt. She emailed Annette saying the designer bags were investments and that selling them below retail caused her financial harm. Like this was Wall Street and not Facebook Marketplace. Annette didn't blink. She replied, "See you." Kara didn't reply after that. Later that week, Marina sent me photos from her new desk at the Pediatric Foundation. She had a potted plant, a framed picture of our parents from some cookout, and a neat stack of color-coded invoices. "I set up dual controls," she said. 2 people sign off on anything over $100. Learned something. I guess I told her I was proud of her. She shrugged and said, "Let's see if I survive Q1. A neighbor sent me a screenshot that night, a Facebook mom group thread. Someone had leaked Kara's meltdown at her parents' place, the ceramic bowl story, the purse grab. The video had 28 comments, most of them rough. I didn't post it, didn't share it, just saved it to the case file. Then I let it go. A couple days later, the surgeon's team called with final instructions. Vanessa's voice again. Efficient, calm, never in a rush. She walked me through everything. No food or drink after midnight. Shower with the soap we gave you. Pack light. Just essentials. Evan sat across the table from me, swinging his feet, listening like it was a secret mission. "Can I bring my shark?" he asked, real serious. "Of course," I said. You pack it." He ran off and came back with it 10 minutes later, tucked into his bag next to his lucky hat. The zipper barely closed. That night, I sat on the edge of his bed while he brushed his stuffed shark's little felt fin with his toothbrush. He looked up at me. "Will it hurt?" he asked. I didn't dodge it. "Yeah, buddy. It'll hurt at first, but we'll be there the whole time. It'll get better after that." He nodded once, like it was a deal. No more questions, no tears. Brave kid. Braver than I was at his age. I stayed there a few more minutes, just listening to his breathing slow down as he drifted off. Out in the hallway, I flipped off the light and checked the bag one last time. Hat, shark, socks, book. We were ready. The sky was starting to dim when the doorbell rang. Sabrina stood there holding a foil-covered casserole like it was a peace offering. Dylan stayed in the truck, engine running. She looked toward him, then back at me. "He's giving space," she said. I didn't ask for the details. Evan popped his head around the corner and smiled when he saw her. She knelt down, hugged him tight, told him he was going to do great, and kissed the top of his head, like she still did when he was 3. In the doorway, she leaned in and said, "I'm sorry I told you to postpone it." I thought I was being practical. I wasn't. I nodded. "We're past it." And we were, mostly. 20 minutes later, there was another knock. No bell this time. Just a small brown box on the porch, no return label. Inside was a plain envelope and a folded note. The cash inside was counted out in 20s, 2,000 exactly. The handwriting was shaky, but I recognized it immediately. "Clint and Evan, this is all I have. I sold my laptop. I'm sorry. Kara." I stood there a full minute, note in one hand, the envelope in the other. Then I walked to the drawer where I kept receipts and labeled folders, pulled out a manila envelope and wrote therapy on the front in black Sharpie. That's where the money went. Not into the main fund, not toward the surgery. Boundaries are boundaries. Evan and I had pasta and watched a game show rerun. He laughed at the dumbest answers like always. Some guy who thought Alaska was a country. Then the mood shifted. He got quiet. He turned to me and asked, "Will the doctor fix my turn?" "That's the plan," I said. He didn't blink, just said, "Then I'll run straight and fast." He meant it. I felt it hit somewhere deep in my chest, a tight pull I couldn't explain. After he went to bed, I laid out his bag. Socks, paperback book, shark, hat. The zipper was fussy, but I got it shut. Then I went to the printer and printed the final receipts, hospital deposits, resale income logs, payment confirmations. I stacked them neatly and clipped them together. Marina texted at 10:04. "See you at 6:45. I'll bring coffee." I was turning off the hallway light when my phone buzzed again. 3 messages, one after another. First from Kara. "I hope you're happy." Second from her dad. "She's in a hostel now. Says she's finally going to therapy." Third from the hospital. Reminder, arrival 2 hours prior to scheduled surgery. "Thank you." I flipped the phone face down on the counter and just stood there a moment, letting the silence settle around me. Then another text came through. This one from Hector. "You got this." Just 3 words, no punctuation, but they landed better than any speech. 2 minutes later, Rashad sent a dumb gif of a dancing robot with a backwards baseball cap. It made me smile, despite everything. Sometimes, simple things hit the hardest. I took a shower and used the antiseptic soap the hospital gave us. It smelled like a swimming pool. The routine kicked in automatically. Wipe the sink, check the coffee machine, lower the thermostat, lock the back door. I peeked in on Evan twice, just to hear him breathe. You can't fight bone with worry, but it doesn't stop you from trying. In bed, I stared at the ceiling and let my mind run the full track. Kara with the glass of ouzo, the empty account, the comment sections, the courtroom folder, Evan limping toward me with a snow cone, Walter saying shame, like it meant something sacred, the receipts, the lawyer, the email that made Kara blink. I didn't feel victorious. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about pushing a boulder far enough up the hill that maybe, just maybe, Evan wouldn't have to push one of his own later. I picked up my phone one last time and set a reminder. First park run, 6 weeks from tomorrow. It wasn't just a goal. It was a promise. We pulled into the hospital lot before the sun even cracked the edge of the sky. The streets were empty, quiet in that way cities get when the world hasn't stretched its legs yet. Evan held the bag on his lap the whole ride. He didn't talk much, just kept his shark tucked under his arm and the bill of his lucky hat tilted low. Marina met us at the entrance with 2 coffees and a granola bar neither of us touched. Her coat was zipped up to her chin, and she gave Evan a big smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. But he smiled back. That was enough. Inside, the nurse met us with a clipboard and a voice like she'd done this 1,000 times. She bent down and talked to Evan like he was part of the team. She let him pick a cartoon. When she slipped the wristband on, she told him it was a power band, and he nodded like he already knew that. The surgeon came in next. Clean scrubs, steady voice, no fluff. He shook my hand, then walked me through everything again. Slower this time, like he understood how heavy the next few hours would feel. When he finished, he asked if I had questions. I said, "No. Just take care of my boy." He gave me a firm nod. Evan squeezed my fingers once before they rolled him down the hall. I watched those doors swing shut, then kept watching long after they stopped moving. The waiting room had bad coffee, worse chairs, and the kind of silence that makes your thoughts too loud. Marina scrolled her phone but didn't show me anything. No screenshots, no messages, no posts. Just quiet. It was the kindest thing she could have done. Sabrina showed up and took the chair on the other side of me. We didn't talk about Kara. We didn't need to. We talked about school supplies, how Evan still said lasagna, and how the hospital coffee tasted like burnt cardboard. 2 hours felt like 4. Then the surgeon came back. His face told me everything before he even opened his mouth. That calm, measured look doctors get when things went the way they were supposed to. He said words like alignment, clean cut, stable fixation. What I heard was, it worked. He handed me an X-ray. Even I could see the difference. The twist was gone. The line was clean. I didn't cry. I just nodded and let the air fill my chest again. Recovery was slow, like they said it would be. Evan came out of anesthesia cranky and hungry and disoriented. He asked for his hat, then for his shark. I gave him both, and he held my hand until he drifted off again. The nurse gave us a folder of instructions. Marina wrote everything down like it was gospel. Sabrina organized the meds and labeled them with color-coded dots. Small work, big impact. A week later, the physical therapist met us in a rehab room that smelled like antiseptic and lemon cleaner. Evan groaned through the first set of tiny leg lifts. Then he pushed through them anyway. When he stood up and took his first step, without that twist, he looked at me like he wasn't sure it was real. I nodded once. He nodded back. We didn't need words for that. The court date never came. Annette finalized the settlement behind the scenes. Kara's parents brought a cashier's check that cleared the rest of the balance. The monthly transfers stayed steady, covering therapy and equipment. Kara sent one more note months later. I'm in treatment. I'm paying what I can. I know what I did. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Work got steadier. Hector handed me the lead tech badge without ceremony. Rashad kept his mouth shut and turned into someone I could actually rely on. Marina stayed in her role and made sure no one could pull another Kara again. We stopped checking Kara's socials, stopped saying her name out loud unless it was to explain boundaries to someone else. She became a lesson, not a presence. Then the day came. The first park run. Early fall, cool air, maples starting to yellow. Evan laced up his sneakers, did a goofy warm-up, and took off down the path. He ran straight as a pencil. No dragging, no tilt. At the end of the path, he spun around and jogged back, faster than I expected. He was grinning, chest heaving, eyes bright. "Could you even see me?" he asked, breathless. I laughed. "Barely." We walked home slow on purpose, with leaves crunching under our feet. We kept what mattered and let the rest go. If someone close to you stole money meant for your child, would you fight back with proof or let it go? Share in the comments. And if this story hit you, please like and subscribe. It's just one click for you, but means a lot to us.
YouTube picked this for you. Tap it. Let's see if they guessed right.